Hi, namaste. My name's Innes Park. I'm a retired professor, now traveling the world as a vegan, and I make vegan travels my specialty. Yesterday, here in Chennai, I was speaking about what are some of the best countries for vegans to travel to, and I did mention that India is actually quite good. Amazing country for vegans to come to. Lots of great food, lots of yoga all over the place. However, there are little bits and pieces of dairy in the food all over the place, and often you end up, if you eat in restaurants, eating some dairy at some point, and that's not really very vegan at all. So I suppose I've found that countries with a lot of rainforest and a Buddhist tradition are actually some of the best countries for vegans to travel from a food perspective. So for example, there's the word Chay in East Asia, and many countries use the word Chay. Maybe 20% of the world's population use the word Chay to represent either a vegan diet or vegetables. One of the main groups there is Bahasa, which is Malay and Indonesian people. They have a dish called Chay, which is vegetables and rice. The word Chay in Vietnam actually means vegan. So to be Chay is to be vegetable, is to be vegan. And they have a lot of fruit and some amazing restaurants, and the price is very low, and the season's all year. Partly the prices are low because of the downwards pressure of communism on wages. So really to sort of get around and eat vegan and eat the best vegan diet, foods that are around, and pretend like you're a vegan monkey living in the forest like our ancestors, then really you have to think of quite a lot of different factors as to where the best and cheapest and vegan food is. Also in Thailand they've got the word Jay, which is a much older word than vegan or vegetarian, or probably even older than Socration, which is the old European word for vegetarian, the followers of Socrates, who was a vegetarian philosopher. So really, also in Korea, Chaeshik means a vegan person. So I just sort of identifying cultural and I suppose environmental factors that are good for vegans, and what vegans can do when they're in countries which aren't so good for veganism. A lot of people make the mistake that they need a vegetarian restaurant or a vegan restaurant in order to feel like they're at home. And if you can cut the sort of social thing out of the equation and just walk into a supermarket and start buying fresh fruit and vegetables, then you're eating instant food. You know what I mean? It's faster than fast food, and it's one of the healthiest options, even if it's not organic, although obviously by organic and local we're possible. Some of the fruits and vegetables are so potent in their cleansing action that even if they're covered in pesticides, they will leave the body more cleansed than if you don't eat them. I run a vegan food business in Melbourne. I still use the title professor from when I was an academic, but I find that the academic and government work in Australia is often geared towards the meat industry. Meat's one of our biggest exports. Apart from that, it's mining, which is environmental destruction and animal death through global warming. And I don't really want to be part of that. I just deal with vegan food and promoting veganism essentially, and I see it as crucial to the world's development at this point in time. And I know a lot of vegetarians in India agree with that, and they're very concerned about the environment. It's hopefully for India, really India is one of the best countries on earth for the environment, but per capita people don't use a lot of resources. In a way, you're very lucky to be having a debate in India today here at the VegFest between vegetarians and vegans. Vegans saying it's time to stop using cows, Indian vegans saying that, and vegetarians maybe defending the use of cows, without really taking into account that there are so many cows in India that it is having an environmental impact, and their lives aren't very healthy, and it's no longer really an Ahimsa diet in India, and people may be in denial. They talk about tradition and culture and those sorts of things, but India is still sort of centuries ahead of where a lot of other countries are, whereby they're not even taking the rights of animals into consideration at all. They just assume that billions of animals have to be killed every year for them to live. They're obsessed with the protein myth, which has basically been generated by the meat and dairy industry in their countries. So really, if we can change the food pyramid and get people eating natural foods, first-hand food rather than second-hand foods, get them eating the nutrients straight from the plants, people will be healthier, the planet will be healthier, and everyone will be less stressed. And I feel that sort of change is happening in India slowly. So I'm looking forward to it. Namaste.